ano
Okay.
yan, nag-o-offer ako. Sabi ko, linisin ko bahay nyo, tapos ano to, pero pakainin nyo ako. Pagkatapos, kahit yung kanin ko, dahil iniipon ko, kulay green na yung kanin ko.
Ano,
Tapos,
Diyos ko, para lumelevel ka sa atchay na ni Nora Honor na panisang papakain sa'yo? Gumanap.
at dahil dyan, marerevive ang MMK. Okay, sige po.
The comeback series.
The Pod Network Entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Best 10 Bets. I am Butch Francisco.
And I'm Leo Katigbak.
Very interesting ang topic natin. Ito
Pag-usapan
ay
natin ang mga pelikulang shoot abroad, pero ang criteria natin mas makabuluhan siya, hindi travelog lang.
Oo.
Okay.
Ayun, kasi otherwise, manood ka na lang ng
National Geographic,
Diba?
okay na Travel Channel.
at mas maganda pa ang camera work noon.
Tama ka
Okay,
dyan.
umpisa natin. Number 10 ko, ilalagay ko dyan ang Caregiver
Oh.
ni Sharon Cuneta.
Okay.
Shot in London. Pinakagusto ko dito yung eksena na discover na ni... Kasi di ba, school teacher si Sharon. And then, she went there to work as a caregiver nga. Tapos, nauna doon yung husband niya, si John Estrada. At doon niya na eventually at some point, na-discover niya si John Estrada pala was practicing yung pinag-aralan niya sa Pilipinas. And he was a very, very...
Unhappy.
lowly or orderly siya. Na hindi naman siya nagpakadaluha siya sa Pilipinas and then hindi yun. So
Para maging tagalinis at saka
at hindi okay lang naman kay Sharon yun. Kaya lang kasi parang sana ang ano niya pinagtapat sana.
Sinabi
John.
sa kanya at hindi itinago.
Oo, tapos and then siya parang ka-discover and it had to happen nung anniversary nila. So nag-book sila ng cruise dun sa the River Seine sa may Paris. Tapos may champagne, may food. Hindi sila makakain kasi di ba pag nakapag-away ka sa yung mahal mo tapos may tampuhan kayo, di ba
Parang talking ka from personal experience.
Oo, yung may bubog.
Parang may hinuhugot ka ngayon.
Yung may bubog na hindi mo malulon. Parang napakita sa pelikula ito na ang mga Pilipino ay hindi lang literate but we read. And read the classics kasi meron naging pasyente si Sharon na in-encourage siya na pinahiram yung mga libro niya. So, parang that was a very, very, parang it gave a very good impression of Filipinos abroad na nahirap na tayo bilang nasyon. Pero may sustansya naman tayo. Kaya, so, number 9, ito, ang away ko lang naman dito talaga, yung again, ipinakasal si Vilma sa kanyang manugang. Di ba? Parang di sa bad taste in the mouth. Pero, I like...
But that's a reality.
Oo, pero...
Well, ang sa akin, I guess that's where we also did. Kasi yung sa akin, it's really a reflection of the things that were happening to a lot of Filipinos. It may not be nice, but the truth often is not naman
Hindi. Okay, reality pero mali mali. I mean, mali in principle. The mouth. But ako, by the way, yung mga isa-cite ko dito, pagpasensyahan nyo na po kasi marami dito sa top 10 list ko. Kasi na-review na namin to sa Cinema Evaluation Board. I gave this a graded A, so naka 100% tax rebate ang pero nung naalala ko yun, I was in the hotel room tapos we just buried my dad. And then nung pinatugtog na siya yung closing credits, that was the time umiyak ako. So, yun. Kwento lang ako dito kasi gusto ko yung mga ang eksena dito yung kumakain si Vilma ng mga bagel kasi ako if there's something about this movie yung location niya sa New York, pinakamalaking frustration ko sa buhay ko, hindi ko abroad. Gusto ko sana, di ba kasi totoo yung if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, di ba? Hindi ko siya na-conquer. So, tapos yung kumakain siya ng, yung parang sarap niya kumain ng bagel. May kwento ako dito kasi nung mga mid-80s, si Tony Rose Gaida, tsaka si Rosa Rosal, they tried living in San Francisco. So, bagong-bago pa lang sila dun. Si Tony Rose Gaida, nagpunta ng bakery at sabi niya dun sa atinderong Amerikano. Sabi niya, can I have a beagle please? Tapos sabi nung nung tindero, beagle? What? A dog? So, yun pala, doon niya na-realize na bagel siya, hindi beagle. Ayun, oo. Number 8, America. Gusto ko sa America, hindi siya nag-attempt na ipakita yung kagandahan ng Amerika. Ang pinupunto lang nito, parang mahirap tumira sa Amerika, mahirap ang buhay sa Amerika, at yung mga Pilipino would rather go back to the Philippines kung meron ka rin lang namang magandang kabuhayan dito. At saka yung ito na naman yung mga fake marriages na naman, lahat gagawin ng paraan para magstay doon.
But that's the reality.
Again, I don't blame them, pero siguro nangyayari, pero ang sa akin kasi nga, parang yung balikan natin sa In My Life, wag mo nang ipakita. Wag mo nang kasi
anong ipapakita mo? Anong magiging basehan ng kwento mo kung hindi yung totoong experience ng Pilipino sa ibang bansa?
No, pero...
Well, I guess that's a difference of opinion. And let us agree to disagree on that one. Because that is not the criteria that I used for mine. Kasi yung sa akin, kung totoong nangyayari yun, kung ang Pilipino ito ang ginagawa, and as far as movies are concerned, I am fine for it to be shown. Because there will always be consequences rin naman eh.
Ano ba naging consequences? Naging maligaya siya sa New York. Inaano ko lang naman kasi, ang media dapat ipakita mo kung ano yung tama at kung ano yung mali. And sa akin, parang hindi ko naman nakitang naparusahan sila sa ginawa nila na mali.
But life is not black and white.
Yeah.
Life is not cut and... Well, ayun nga, let's agree to disagree because yung sa akin, there are things that you don't want to happen but it will still result in something positive.
But ewan ko, basta yun ang
Okay.
sa akin.
Go.
Number 7, no? When I Met You in Tokyo. Ito, kasi it shows another side of Japan at saka ang gusto ko dito, ipinakita si Boyet at saka si Vilma na ang tagal-tagal na naging love team in another parang dimension na ito, seniors na sila at ang roles nila senior. Yung parang nandiyan the aches and the pains. Pinakita lahat yun tapos kahit na may edad na sila, nakapagtrabaho pa sila sa Japan.
Nag-review nga ako eh. Nilike pa ni Boyet at saka ni Vilma yung review ko.
Tapos sa akin, ang medyo masakit ang sa akin dito, parang they were so happy living in Japan. Parang ayaw nila bumalik sa Pilipinas. Parang
But that's true also.
Best friend. Ito sinasabi ko lang. Ang sabi ko, what pains me. Hindi ko sinasabing mali na hindi kayo umuwi ng Pilipinas. Medyo masakit lang sa akin. Parang wow, siguro talagang sarap talaga ng buhay sa Japan na ayaw nila umuwi sa Pilipinas. Which means there really is something wrong.
Okay, Butch, ano bang pagkakaiba nung makakakilala natin ngayon na nagde-decide na they are the people who you would want to stay in the Philippines but they're deciding to go abroad because they do not see a future for their children in the Philippines.
Wala naman ako sinasabing mali doon. Hindi ko naman sinasabing mali. At number 6, Northern Lights. Parang A Journey to Love. Ito kasi, kasi palibhasa ikaw, parang namumulot ka lang naman talaga ng pera. So nakakapag-luxury liner ka, papuntang Antarctica. Ako naman, makapunta lang ako ng Hong Kong. Kailangan ko pa sumakay sa balat ng mani. So,
actually, ang Northern Lights, I considered it. The only reason I didn't include it is because they didn't really shoot naman in the actual location eh. They use another location to substitute for it. So to me, authenticity naman also comes into my criteria.
Pero,
but parang parang binack up mo sa ibang bansa. So yung sa akin, di sige.
So kasi parang at least kasi hindi pa ako pangarap ko sa buhay makakita ng Aurora Borealis. Wag mo lang ipaspell. Pag-pronounce ka lang, hirap na ako eh.
Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis. So tapos, yun lang kasi...
ano yung sa Southern Hemisphere?
Southern Hemisphere?
Aurora Australis.
Yun, oo. Yun nakita mo yun, di ba?
Ito kasi, dapat Northern Lights, sa Southern Hemisphere sila nag-shoot eh.
Oo. Kaya nga.
Ganun yun.
So,
wala siya sa listahan ko.
Kaya nga kasi ikaw nakita mo siya in actuality.
No, I haven't seen the Northern Lights.
No. The Southern Lights.
No, I haven't
Hindi,
seen. I haven't seen either.
Ay,
Because the time that I went, wala sila.
Nag-Antarctica lahat.
Diyos ko, summer naman sa Antarctica. Wala naman ako talagang makikita na,
Summer lumalabas.
ano ka?
Alam ko summer lumalabas. Oo.
Hindi.
Ewan ko, hindi sabay, ikaw ay nagpunta ng Antarctica, so who am I to question you? Oo.
Ang kaya yun lumalabas, pag mahaba ang gabi. Sa amin ako nagpunta sa Antarctica, ang gabi isang oras lang.
Okay, sige.
Oo.
Sige, ikaw nagpunta. Ako pinag-ipunan ko talaga makarating dun.
At saka ang Northern Lights, mas nakikita mo talaga sa Northern Hemisphere. You see it mo, Iceland, kahit Canada nakikita mo, kahit Alaska nakikita mo.
nakikita mo. Pero ako, yun ang mamamatay na lang ako, hindi ko pa siya nakikita.
Sa New Zealand data nakikita mo siya. Yung Australis, nakikita mo ata.
Naubos ko na lahat ng aking resources. Wala na akong...
Kawawa, di ba may babayaran ka pa nga dahil sa long distance?
Oo. Ang budget ko ngayon pang Marinduque na lang. At nakikita ba sa Marinduque ang Northern Lights? Ang number 5 ko, sana maulit muli. Ito yung...
Do you feel lost, doubting yourself, and tired? You question your worth and existence? Well, I'm here for you. Hey, this is Gailey Chavez, and I'm the host of Free Yourself Podcast. My podcast talks about self-love, self-discovery, and growth. This is for everyone who wants to live their fullest life and become the person that they could be. Let me help out and remind you that this is your life, your path, that you are not broken, and you are worth it. Catch me every Friday at 8 p.m. See ya!
Punto
ng buhay ko
Oh.
na nasa crossroads ako.
Parang ang dami mong angst sa buhay. Parang itong listahan ata, ito yung
Sina-
nabuo dahil sa angst mo sa buhay.
Di ba sinabi ko naman na pasensya na kayo kasi karamihan dito ay
May hugot.
magiging personal.
Okay. Ay, nako.
So anyway,
Ay, nako.
hindi itong sana maulit mo. It happened, this was in 1995. This was a time na nagpunta ako Amerika.
Ba't parang naluluha-luha ka, boy?
Oo. Kasi sabi nga si personal, alam mo, wala kang malaki empathy sa akin. Magkaibigan pa man din tayo.
Meron akong empathy, pero hindi naman ako konsentidor. Yung sa akin naman, yung sa akin to the extent na ayoko naman humagulgul ka dito bigla.
Malapit na.
Oh.
Hindi, ito. Seryoso na. Mas maganda ang magmamigrate. I wouldn't know sa Saudi Arabia, sa Europe, sa Italy because hindi ko na try eh. So, pero kung Amerika, mas maganda talaga kung bata pa lang kayo pupunta para mas madali kayo maka-adjust. At number 4, Dollhouse. If only for the performance of Baron Geisel at saka si Althea Ruedas. Ito talaga yung toward the end, yung puputok ang puso mo, di ba? Yung sinasabayan kong umiyak si Baron Geisler that time.
I guess dyan lalabas na medyo magkaiba yung yung criteria natin kasi to me my list, the places where they shot it and the places that were part of the movie actually became part of the character of the movie. My problem with the Dollhouse, and to me Dollhouse is a very, very good movie, but it could have been any other country. I didn't feel the location
Of Rotterdam.
Ano siya parang kumbaga it could have been any other city in Europe and it would still have told the same story. That's my issue with it.
Wala naman silang pinakitang landscape.
Pero kahit na. Kasi like for example, when you do a movie that's shot in New York, when you do a movie that's shot in San Francisco, you integrate the characters of those cities into what's happening in the lives of the character. So, yung sa akin, like for example, pwedeng hindi pa ako nakapunta doon sa lugar na yon or pwedeng nakapunta na ako sa lugar na yon. Pero pag pinanood ko yung sine, nararamdaman ko yung lugar doon sa sine. It could have been any other European
city. So parang
city.
gusto mong sabihin, sana imbis na Dollhouse, ang nilagay ko na dito, Miss X. Na shop in Amsterdam.
Well, Miss X is actually in my list and I have a reason for defending that. But anyway.
Okay, so anyway, so yun. Dito lang dito natalo si Baron Geisler kay John Lloyd Cruz sa Urian. 1 point lang. Oo.
Okay. No, but Dollhouse is very good. And Baron is a very good actor.
Very good.
There's nothing.
Okay, at number 3, ewan ko nasa listahan mo to. Kita. Di ba? Wow. I've never seen such fantastic chemistry na hindi mo aakalain na manggagaling kay Alessandra De Rossi at saka kay Empoy Marquez.
Okay.
Di ba parang saan ang galing yung chemistry na yun? Parang ang galing-galing nila pareho. At saka di ba kahit naman yung mga producers didn't expect that it was gonna be that successful.
I agree with you, but that's not my reason for agreeing with you.
Sige, mamaya.
It's in my list
sige,
also eh.
Mamaya mo ikwento. At dito talaga, ako naman, kahit nung sidekick pa si Empoy noon, natatawa na ako sa kanya. Pero dito talaga ang respeto ko sa kanya talaga umabot sa langit. Well, si Alessandra naman, dati ko na namang gusto si Alessandra. And again, si Alessandra lost by 1 point sa urian for this film kay Joanna Ampil for Larawan. At number 2, A Faraway Land. Yen Santos and Paulo Conti. Sanalo ng Best Actress si dito, Yen Santos. Ito kasi, kaya ko gusto, alam mo bang siguro nung 8-9 years old ako, ang libangan ko sa buhay yung araw ay magbasa ng mapa.
Ako rin, nung bata ako. Gusto ko ang mapa tsaka gusto kong globe. Kaya nung bata ako, memoryado ko yung mga countries, memoryado ko rin yung capital at currency nila. Parang natatawa sila, no? Parang napaka-nerd natin nung bata natin.
Hanggang ngayon naman. So, hindi na tayo nerd. Weird na tayo.
Hindi, sobrang ako nerd pa rin. Siguro, ikaw weird, oh.
And then, discover ko, meron palang lugar na Faroe Islands. Yun, nasa territory ng Denmark. At saka maganda yung movie, maganda yung story, maganda yung pagkahalatag ng kwento. Sa sobrang gandang chemistry ni Paulo at saka ni Yen, nagkatuluyan. Tapos hanggang ending, ang ending, yung Faroe Islands sila, tinuloy nila sa Baguio at nakunan sila ng picture. So, yun. At saka, yun, it's a very good lesson in geography. Kasi na-discover ko na mayroon palang Faroe Islands. Yun. At saka, siya yung ang pinaka major sa economy nila, yung sa whaling, at saka yung mga ship, di ba? And at number 1 ko, I'm sure nandito rin yan sa listahan mo, Hello, Love, Goodbye. Shot in Hong Kong. Actually, noon, paborito ko noon na movie, local movie shot abroad, yung Sunday Beauty Queen. Kasi tungkol sa mga OFW. Kasi ako, actually, ang lapit-lapit sa puso ko ng mga OFW. Ako, pag merong, let's say, bumabalik na Pilipina na nakakahon, dumudugo ang puso ko. Kasi parang, ito yung mga nagsasakripisyo para lang sa pamilya. Hindi na sa pamilya, sa bayan. Kasi talagang nung sinabing sila yung bagong bayan, ito pagkakalatag ng kwento niya. Yung love story din ni Alden at saka ni Catherine.
Hindi siya conventional.
Walang masyadong kilig factor, pero nag-work. Di ba? Yung hindi pinupush, di ba? And the thing that
mas totoong buhay siya.
Ang galing-galing nilang dalawa, yung performance nila. At saka everything there was real.
Yeah.
Yun. So, and that completes my list of the top 10 movies shot abroad na nagustuhan.
Our lists are similar, pero I guess the criteria is different because to me, when I was making my list, it was important that the cities or the places become interconnected with the story. So, ganun yung mas criteria
Di ba sabi mo merit?
Ha?
Di ba sabi mo merit?
Merit naman yun eh.
Oh.
Na nakatahi siya, hindi siya travelogue, nakatahi siya na nakikita mo dun sa buhay ng mga characters. So for example, ang number 10 ko, Miss You Like Crazy, which was shot in Malaysia. It was in Kuala Lumpur. Makikita mo dun sa galawan ng mga characters na parang how would I say it? When I was doing Studio 23, we actually had a lot of people, very, very young people who was working with us. And eventually, they were moving to places like Kuala Lumpur. They were going to places like Vietnam and Bangkok and whatever. They were working with ad agencies. They were working in hotels and whatever. And basically, you're talking of a younger generation of people and the reality of them working in these places, how yung diaspora nila, how they become part of the location. And to me, that's something that I have to give credit to the actors as well as the director na itinahi nila yung buhay ng contemporary na people in their 20s or 30s working hindi as maids, not as engineers, but people who are working
As professionals.
As professionals, white collar jobs and whatever. So ako, lalo na I've been to Kuala Lumpur, nararamdaman mo siya na parang okay, hindi lang siya parang itinransplant doon, nararamdaman mo na kung doon talaga sila nakatira, ganyan nga yung buhay nila.
Basta ako, hindi ko siya ilalagay sa listahan ko until they return Sabbath to us.
Okay. Ang number 9 ko, Barcelona.
Okay.
To me, one of the greatest strengths of Olive Lamasan as a director is she always marries her lokal with the journeys of the characters. So yung Barcelona was not just really a backdrop, but again, this was a very, very contemporary way of looking at younger Filipinos. Dati kasi ang napapakinig mo lang na nag-OFW ay na nagiging domestic, tatay, nanay, mas matatanda. Now, you're seeing a younger generation and some of them are succeeding, some of them are less successful. But this one, nakikita mo yung hirap na So, amidst a very, very cosmopolitan city, you're seeing saan lumulugar yung mga Pilipino, saan sila nagsasucceed, saan hindi. So, ang dyan, hindi siya as easily transplantable to another city because you have integrated how life is in Spain or in this particular place in Barcelona to the journey of the characters.
Ay, matatapos na yung Sagrada Familia.
Ay, hindi. Matagal pa yan.
Ay, matatapos na raw.
Hindi nila kaya sa budget nila.
Bukas daw tapos na.
Number 8, Dubai.
Dubai.
Okay. Dubai was one of those movies that was shot earlier in the years of Star Cinema. And dati wala pang masyadong social media. So for us, we read about Filipinos who are having a very, very hard time. They stay in cramped quarters. This is the reality. They are working under very, very difficult conditions para lang makapagpadala ng pera sa Pilipinas. Pero pag tiningnan mo siya, kumbaga, dati kasi, hindi katulad ngayon sa social media, any form of video that will come out will already show you how Filipinos are in different places. So, if you are only hearing about it, then you're suddenly seeing the characters living in very, very tight spaces na ganito yung ginagawa nila. And again, ang POV niya, bata. Aga was not old naman in this movie. Younger character niya, younger brother niya si John Lloyd. Pagkatapos even the character of Claudine ini-explain. So parang kumbaga you were suddenly being immersed na dito sa Dubai walang nagnanakaw, pwede mong iwan yan, makikita mo na yan. Remember when I did go to Milan before, ang mga nakakasalubong ko Pilipino tumutulong. Ang nakakalungkot ngayon, the same Filipinos that I was talking to, ang sinasabi nila, mag-ingat ka sa Pilipino kasi Pilipino nang nanloloko sa kapwa Pilipino. Nararamdaman mo siya in the way the movies are shot, in the way it's written, in the journey of the characters. Hindi siya kumbaga, okay, ito ang kwento ng character ni Aga at saka ni John Lloyd, but their experience is also very, very specific to life in Dubai. So, if I am not familiar with it and I am only hearing it from other people, from other OFWs and whatever, suddenly seeing it on the big screen creates a very, very tangible picture na for me. Kasi may nakikita na ako na, ganyan pala yung tinitirhan nila, ganyan pala yung pastime nila, ganyan pala yung hirap na dinadaanan nila.
Hindi ko na nagustuhan dito. Ayoko na nung nag-aagawan sila, yung magkapatid, nag-aagawan sa babae.
Well, I can't categorically say that it happens, but when we were talking to some people before, ang sinasabi nila, sometimes it's the loneliness.
Maybe it happens.
It happens, or it's the loneliness that drives you. In the same way that there are people who hook up there even if they have families here. Actually, you can notice from my list that my list tends to be more of a location-centric thing. Kasi ang inaano ko talaga is how integral the set,
sabi mo Mary.
Okay. The setting is to the movie. Number 7 ko is both In My Life and Alone Together. Okay. Set in New York. I used to go to New York for the better part of 10 years. Practically every year I would go there because my sister was staying in New Jersey at that time. And a lot of the stuff that they showed in both movies, mararamdaman mo yung pagiging New Yorker, yung parang how they've integrated into it. Obviously, sa In My Life, iba yung experience ni Vilma being the nanay. Pero yung si Luis at
saka bago salta siya.
Tapos si Luis at saka si John Lloyd, sila yung parang mas the younger people who are getting jobs working in Wall Street or you could feel that .
Kasi mas bata nga sila, mas madali sila makapag-adjust.
Hindi. Correct. But whether it's eating bagel or eating pizza or going to
or beagle.
or going to Central Park or or going to Washington Square, all of those experiences kasi make it a very distinct New York experience. And now, when you go naman to look at Alone Together, ang gusto ko naman dyan, you now have a very young, contemporary, modern Filipino and how they have integrated themselves into New York. And whether it's going to the Museum of Modern Art or going to Tribeca or going to Chinatown or going to different parts where younger people would go, random na random mo yung pagkaano. And it's not a travelogue. It's like they're Filipinos who happen to be living in New York. And to me, I appreciated that part of it kasi nararamdaman mo na parang, ay oo, kung halimbawa yung pamangkin ko na nakatira sa New York, ganyan nga yung buhay niya. Yung kapatid ko na nag-aaral sa East Coast, ganyan nga. Ganyan yung behavior nila, ganyan sila mag-usap, ganyan yung interest nila, ganyan sila lumabas with their friends. And to me, that's why both movies, as far as I'm concerned, gave a very, very strong representation of how their age demographic stayed, lived, and interwove with the energy of New York.
Nalungkot na naman ako.
Bakit na naman?
Kasi naalala ko kasi, again, I could have conquered that city, kaya lang kasi kailangan ko umuwi kasi lahat ng kinita ko working for ABS-CBN for 5 years and a half na wala sa bank run. So kailangan ko umuwi dito to start all over again.
Sobra ka. Hindi, ako kasi, I was going to New York siguro for the better part of mga 12 years. Yeah. So my sister stayed in New Jersey and then she worked in Manhattan. So pag umaga, ihahatid ko siya sa New York and every day, ibang kalye ang lalakaran ko. Okay. So kaya sabi nga niya, mas alam mo pa yung New York kesa sa akin.
Madali naman niya kasi number lang yan.
Kahit na. Pero the fact that you're, like, I'm walking from Battery Park all the way to Central Park, hindi naman malapit yun eh. That's easily like a 4-hour walk one way. So ako ang gagawin ko, pagkatapos ko siya ihatid sa opisina, maglalakad ako all the way to Central Park. Pagkatapos ng dadaanan ko, halimbawa, 1st Avenue, 2nd Avenue, 3rd Avenue, 4th Avenue, Broadway, 5th Avenue. So iba-iba yung nakikita mo.
Hindi mo nakasalubong nagja-jogging si Jane Fonda.
Palagay ko sa Upper East Side siya. Hindi naman ako nagpupunta sa Upper East Side. Puro pang mayaman naman yung nandun eh. Pero yung sa akin, dati, di naglalakad ako. Then at a certain point, I would take the subway. I would go to Jamaica Center. I'd go to Coney Island. I'd go to Queens. I'd go to Brooklyn. I'd go to Staten Island. So, those were the kinds of experiences that I had.
Nakakita pa ako dyan ng isang CD ni Billy Crawford, binibenta.
Oh. At saka, yung sa akin...
Nakaka-proud.
Oh, well, syempre naman, pag ano naman. Pero katulad yan, like when I used to go to New York, I started going to New York before the gentrification of Times Square. So,
ano pa? Inabot mo yun?
Oh, like for example, the porn stores are on the side.
Oh, goodness.
That's why to me, it was important that the places would reflect kung ano yung nakikita mo. So whether you're going to Alphabet City or
ang yaman mo talaga kasi
nilalakad yan.
Hindi, bata ka pa lang, nakakapunta ka na dyan kasi di ba nung araw bago dumating si...
Uy, sobra ka, mas matanda ako sa'yo. So, yung sinasabi mong bata ako, matanda na rin ako noon. Ikaw talaga.
Pero may pang New York ka noon, ako talaga.
Bakit? Economy naman ang binabayad. I think the ticket to New York was something like $500 at the time.
From LA?
Hindi, from the Philippines. Ano ka?
Hindi, from LA. Mahal na kasi.
You're talking of the 90s.
Ako nagbabasag pa ako ng alkansya para lang makarating dyan.
You're talking of the 90s, ha?
Okay.
Okay, ang number 6 ko, caregiver.
Okay.
Because ang feeling ko, now this was another perspective. You've always heard that Filipinos were going there to be nurses and caregivers. And then, but unless you actually knew a caregiver, you didn't know kung ano talaga yung ginagawa nila. So, in this Sharon Cuneta movie directed by Chito Ronyo, biglang nakita mo na ito rin pala ang hirap na dinadaanan at dinadanas ng mga kababayan nating Pilipino na basically, a caregiver, glorified na yaya. Na tagapag-alaga. And totoo na masakit na nag-aalaga ka ng ibang tao kaysa ang inaalagaan mo, sarili mong magulang o sarili mong anak, so on and so forth. And then, this was the perspective in London kasi, di ba, different areas Middle East, engineer ka. Southeast Asia, domestic ka. Pagdating mo sa mga Paris at saka sa mga London, mga nurse naman at saka mga caregiver. So, it was also showing a different dynamic and a different perspective kung anong dinadaanan ng mga Pilipino sa mga lugar na ito. Number 5 ko, Milan. Kasi yung
Here we go
oh,
again.
yeah. Alam ko ba, marami kang pet peeve sa Milan, lalo na yung crossing the border and whatever.
Okay.
But the thing is, again, if you are just hearing about it and then you're seeing it, whether it's accurate or not, to your satisfaction, pag nakikita mo siya, makikita mo rin na, iba rin pala ang hirap na dinadaanan ng nagiging maid, nagmumultiple jobs, nagsisiksikan sa isang bahay.
Kahit naman hindi sabihin lang, lahat ng OFW ng Pilipino, ganun din ang hirap na may pinagdadaanan.
No, correct. Pero yung sa akin, in-integrate ni Olive ang nuances ng Milan doon sa narrative niya. So whether nagpupunta sila sa Domo o nagpupunta sila doon sa mga fields kung saan mga
Spanish Steps.
Ano yan that's part of it Kahit naman sinong Pilipino, inaano yan. Yung pag-ikot mo na pag-wish mo, ano siya you marry the character of the place with the journey of your characters.
Alam mo ba yung pag-ikot na si Piolo, di ba? Meron siyang eksena gano'n. Alam mo ba, the late national artist Benvenido Lumbera, talagang really cited that. Si Piolo almost won Best Actor kasi pinupush siya talaga ni Dr. Ben Lumbera.
I thought Piolo and Isa and Claudine were very, very good there.
Especially Isa.
Oo.
Kaya lang, again, maingay na sila sa border. Hanggang sa boarding house, maingay pa rin sila.
Hindi. Pero alam mo, totoo naman na maingay yung Pilipino.
Maingay na nga mga Italiano. Makikitagdag ka pa sa ingay.
Pero totoo maingay yung Pilipino. In fact, pag halimbawa nanonood ka sa social media, di ba meron ako nakita recently na sinasabi nila, this is how the French greet when they see each other. This is how Americans greet when they see each other. This is how the Thai greet when they see each other. This is how Filipinos greet when they see each other. Totoo naman na gano'n na maingay ang Pilipino kahit yung dito na lang na matagal na hindi nagkakita at nagkasalubong sa mall, maingay sila. Isipin mo yung matagal silang hindi nagkita sa ibang bansa. So yung sa akin, napaka-authentic niya. You may not like it, but it's very, very authentic.
Sa boarding house, araw-araw sila nakikita, maingay pa rin sila.
Bakit? Dito na lang naman kung saan sa mga nagtatrabaho, hindi mo sumakay ka na lang ng Philippine Airlines ang ibang airlines, ang tatahimik ng mga stewardess. Alam mo pag ang crew Pilipino kasi generally mas maingay sila. There's nothing wrong with it. Ako, I enjoy it. But it seems to be a very, very distinct Filipino trait.
Bakit totoo yan? Kasi isang beses, nakasakay ako ng Philippine Airlines. Tinatanong ko nung ali katabi ko, nasa na tayo? Sabi ko, natatabi ko kayo ng bintana. Buksan nyo, tignan nyo baka may signboard. So yung gano'n.
But that's how it is And I love people for being like that. That's part of our culture So sa akin, pasok na pasok yun. 4 is a movie that you don't like. Miss X.
Hindi ko ba sinabi, I don't. Hindi ko sinabi.
Hindi, magagalit sa'yo si Philpa. Hindi. No, the reason Miss X is in my, this movie came out in the 1980s.
1980. 80. Si Kulin Desma.
Ang sa akin, di ba, batang-bata ka? Batang-bata pa ako noon. Pero kumbaga, dati napapakinig mo na there's the sex trade, there's a red light district, and whatnot. But this was the first time na through this movie na na-realize mo na totoo pala, may ganyan pala. Hindi lang yan yung napapakinig mo na parang chismis na ewan. Actually, there is a place where the red light district is that open, where Filipinos, if they will go there will be a sex trade where there's a window, nabubuksan mo lang yung kortina, tapos magse-sex na, sasaraduhan yung kortina. So, in an era na walang social media, where you probably have, chismis and hearsay describing a place like this, to suddenly have it depicted in a movie, to me, was very, very eye-opening and very, very impressionable.
Aminin mo na kasi nung pinalabas yan, raging hormones ka pa noon.
Totoo rin naman. I was a teenager when that came out.
Raging hormones.
I was 16 years old when that came out.
Okay.
Pero yung the fact na, may ganyan pala. Kasi I had studied in the States prior I didn't see anything like that when I was there. So all of a sudden you say, there are countries pala na may ganyan na totoong nangyayari.
So nakalagay sa bucket list mo, Amsterdam.
Nakapunta na ako na. And I've been to the red. I've gone to the red.
Pinag-ipunan mo talaga siya. Ito yung baon ko for the week. Sige, for Amsterdam. Ito for...
Hindi. Alam mo kung bakit? Siguro the fact na nakapag-aral ako sa Amerika. That was the one that triggered it for me. Na there is a lot of wealth. And I'm not talking about monetary wealth I'm talking about character wealth when you travel. Kasi bumubukas ang mata mo kung paano ka makikipag-deal sa mga tao na iba-ibang kultura, kung paano mo tatanggapin ang paniniwala at ang kultura ng ibang religion, ng mga ibang bansa. And then there are just realities na halimbawa sarado kang Katoliko na meron palang hindi Katoliko at meron palang ito ang mundo nilang ginagalawan at meron palang itong mundong ito ay napapasok ng Pilipino at nafo-force sila na mag-adjust diyan kung gusto nilang mabuhay. So it opens your perspective. Lumalawak ang pananaw mo.
Sorry, kasi nung nasa abroad ako, I was so busy, nagsasalansan ng dilata, tsaka nagdadrive ng forklift habang nag-aaral.
Ikaw talaga.
Ay, ginawa ko yun. Mabuti ka pa, at swerte mo nga, senyorito ka, hindi ka nagtrabaho ng mga jobs.
Ano ka? Nag-gasoline boy ako dati.
Ito ba yung mga nagkaroon ng sunog?
Hindi. Pero ako, ang experience ko dyan nung gasoline boy ako, natutuwa ako. Kasi natutuwa yung mga jeepney driver sa akin eh.
May jeep sa Amerika?
Hindi, dito sa Pilipinas ako nag-gasoline boy.
Talaga? Saan dito? I'm sure kayo may-ari ng gasolinahan.
Yung gasolinahan sa tapat ng Pepsi dati. Sa kanto ng Aurora Boulevard at saka
Nandun pa yun?
Oo nga, pero iba na may-ari. No? Matagal nang...
Pero sa inyo nung araw yun?
My aunt was the one who owned it. Pero ang trabaho ko, gasoline boy.
Talaga? Ang grabe.
Kaya doon ako nasunog dati na yung halimbawa, di ba ang radiator ng tubig?
Aha.
So bubuksan mo, dadating yung mga jeep, tapos bubuksan mo, tapos yung sa sobrang
sisingaw.
Hindi siya, puputok siya. So, kung hindi ka maingat, ang magiging mo dyan, ikaw ang mababantuan ng kumukulong tubig. Ang dami kong experience na pag halimbawa, nasa Cubao ako at pabalik ako dun sa malapit sa amin, pag nakita ko ng mga jeepney driver na nagpapakarga dun sa gas station, hindi ako pinapababayad. Sasabihin nila, sumakay ka na. Sabi ko, tapos maabot ko. Sabi, hindi, wag na. Kasi naaaliw sila sa akin.
So, ilang oras ka na gasoline boy?
3 years?
Hindi nga.
Aba, syempre, nag-aaral naman ako the rest of the time. Pero tuwing summer, hindi ako katulad ng ibang bata na naka-summer vacation. Nagtatrabaho ako sa gas station.
Ay, ako nag-aaral ako sa Underwood. Ng typing.
Ako gasoline boy. Ikaw, nag-aaral ka ng typing.
Sana, yung mga gasoline boy, bigyan natin ng konting tip naman. Kasi, ang liliit daw ng sweldo.
Totoo.
Oo, kaya, the little that we can help.
Ang number 3 ko, sana maulit muli. Because ang feeling ko rin, again, another Olive Lamasan movie, but I felt also that this one, the character of San Francisco as a city, because San Francisco is like New York, it has a very distinct personality, was well integrated in the life and naging conflict at saka yung naging change sa buhay ni Lea Salonga. Remember, nag-umpisa yan, si Lea,
Si Agnes.
didn't want to leave. Tapos si Aga,
Si
was
Jerry.
successful, si Jerry. Pagkatapos pagdating doon, nakita mo yung journey ni Agnes na iyak ng iyak, pagkatapos kinaiinisan pa siya.
Tapos siya pala yung nag-succeed.
Tapos biglang nag-succeed. You had a very successful Jerry who went there, then biglang naging dishwasher.
Teka, Leo, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, hindi ko na, thank you for putting that in your list kasi maidadagdag ko.
Okay.
Kaya ko sinabing, kung kayo established na dito, mag-isip-isip kayo mabuti.
Tama.
Kasi parang yung nangyari kay Aga Mulak.
Kay Jerry, sa karakter
kay
na
Jerry. Kasi, ang taas na ng posisyon niya sa advertising agency.
Correct.
So, hirap na hirap siya mag-adjust sa
Correct.
buhay Amerika. Kasi ano ba trabaho niya doon? Nagtatrabaho sa kusina na inaapi ni Raul
At saka, if
Aragon.
ever,
Tapos,
TNT siya nun.
tapos nagbubuhat siya ng yung mga logs na gagawing Christmas tree.
Naging siya, from white collar, naging blue collar siya.
Oo, kaya ngayon nga, pag iyon, I think, pag-isipan nyo mabuti na kung okay naman ang buhay nyo dito, mas maganda siguro. Ito, based again from, kaya actually, nung pinapanood ko yan nung 1995, I saw myself kay Aga Mulak. Especially when I would look at the mirror. That's a joke.
Pwede ba ganito? Pagtabihin natin ang litrato ni Aga Mulak as Jerry at ni Butch Francisco as Butch. Pagkatapos baka pwedeng i-AI natin magmo-morph si Aga into Butch.
Sinasabi ko lang naman, nakikita ko yung sarili ko kay Aga. Hindi ko na sinasabi, nakikita ko yung mukha ko sa mukha ni Aga.
Okay.
Yun lang naman.
Ba-text nga si Aga. Sabi ko, uy, alam mo Aga, nung kanina nagtatape kami, sabi ni Butch nakikita daw niya na parang ikaw siya.
Well, Aga is so sure of him, he's so secure with his looks that he will not even get offended anymore when compared to me.
Actually, si Aga has a good sense of humor.
Oo.
Okay.
Hindi, pero hindi. Again, yan ang isa sa mga bubog sa puso ko. Para ba yung mga what if sa buhay na
Kahit naman ako
Oo.
Because yung sa akin, I think, I actually had offers to work in the US. But I
Yeah.
can't for a lot of other reasons. But I also think na, what if nagtrabaho nga ako doon?
Oo, parang, ito mo, pareho tayong pinanggagalingan.
Hollywood Kasi it's similar to what I was doing.
Talaga? So, ibig sabihin dapat Oscar award-winning actor ka na ngayon?
Hindi artista. Behind the camera.
Anong gagawin mo dun?
The business side of it.
So magiging, pwede kang, ikaw naging Spielberg?
Not necessarily, business side, not necessarily mga director or writer.
Hindi
naman yun yung linya ko nun
Nagsisisi ka?
Hindi. Because yung sa akin, it's not something that I pursued because I had responsibilities and whatever. So, I don't think about it.
Ako naman, hindi. The fact na napunta ako sa programang ito, hindi na ako nagsisisi. Kasi I get to work with the nicest people. Pero, shucks, I would have been richer kung nasa Amerika siguro.
Well, yeah. And especially, I think, really, it's a young person's game.
Hindi na ako young nun Oo, kaya medyo...
No. Well, I'm not saying naman 20s. You could be until your 40s.
I was in my 30s.
Pwede pa yun.
Early 30s in fact.
Pwede pa yun.
Oo, pero again...
And I don't think you would have started in the bottom naman.
Nagsasalasan ako ng dilata. What could be...
No. Because if you did have expertise even from here, at a certain point
Leo, at pagkatapos ng shift ko doon at graveyard shift yun, nagmamap ako. Tapos isang beses, inutusan ako magtapon ng basura doon sa, yung shaft na So ako, kasi diring-diring nga ako doon sa drum na may gulong. So, hawak-hawak ko yung gulong lang. So, paghulog ko ng gano'n, humiwalay yung drum sa gulong. Tapos, sabi ko, ako pa magbabay dito. So, bumaba ako doon sa shaft. Tapos, hindi na ako makaakyat kasi stainless ang dulas-dulas. Sabi ko, pag isa may pumindot dito, patay ako.
Habag naman yan nangyari sa'yo dyan?
Hindi talaga. Tapos, by that time, nakaahon ako. Meron ako bulok na litsugas dito. May carrots ako dito.
Wala naman akong ganyan experience.
Pagkatapos, pag-uwi ko, nakabasikleta lang ako 2 in the morning. Lamig-lamig. Tapos, ang gloves ko, wala akong pambili ng gloves. Kaya yung pag nakabisikleta ko, isang kamay natin, isang
para
ganito.
naman pang MMK yung kwento mo.
Ay, montik nang bili ng magpakailanman.
Okay.
Yun, montik na nilang...
At ikaw ang lalabas na, na Butch?
Actually, oo. Pero, ang
gusto mo si Donnie Pangilinan na lumabas na Butch?
hindi pa siya pinapanganak nun.
Hindi, alam ka namang ikaw, supposedly bata ka doon.
Hindi, pero kailan lang naman din kasi ito.
O gusto mo si Joshua Garcia lumabas na young Butch?
Wala pa, baka toddler pa lang siya noon.
Okay.
So, pero we wanted authenticity. I wanted
i-alok mo ulit kay Mel.
I wanted
baka mamaya gustong gawin ulit ni Mel.
Kasi
Kasi napag-usapan yung kwento, malay mo, biglang maraming mag-comment sa message, na grabe, sobra pala pinagdaanan ni Butch. Dapat makita natin ang dramatization nito.
Hindi, alam mo ba nun? Para lang ako makakain. Nung kumakatok ko sa mga bahay-bahay, sabi ko, linisin ko.
Magnanakaw ka?
Hindi. Hoy, marangal naman ako.
Okay. So, ayaw mo nga pala yung masamang ginagawa. Okay.
So, yan, nag-o-offer ako, sabi ko, linisin ko bahay nyo, tapos, pero pakainin nyo ako. Pagkatapos, kahit yung kanin ko, dahil iniipong ko, kulay green na yung kanin ko. Tapos,
Diyos ko, para lume-level ka sa atchay na ni Nora Honor na panisang papakain sa'yo?
Hindi, yun naman kasi mina-microwave ko para mamatay. Pagkatapos...
Di baho ng microwave doon.
Hindi naman, nakikita lang naman ako. So, problema nila yun.
Okay.
So, hindi, tapos.
Uy, alam mo, tumilistahan ko sa number 2. Dami-dami mo.
Ikaw kasi, binuksan may floodgates
Dali.
Pagkatapos, di ba sa Amerika, uso-uso yung open house? Na, yun, pupunta ako sa bahay na may
tapos
bahay.
Tapos makikitulog ka?
Hindi naman, makikikain lang. Tapos, mandami-dami ko nilalagay sa plato ko para at least busog na ako, no? Tapos, ang gagawin ko, sabi ko may natira akong pork chop, hindi ko alam ang gagawin, sayang naman. Nakakita ko ng plastic, binalot ko, nilagay ko sa bulsa ko.
Wow! Diyos ko, talagang magpakailan man yung kwento. Nananawagan po kami kay Mel Chanco, papasa po ba itong kwentong ito ni Butch Francisco?
Hindi.
Marami pong artista na pwedeng lumanap.
At dahil dyan, mare-revive ang MMK. Okay, sige.
The comeback series. Number 2. Yung sa akin, magkasama ang Kita-Kita and When I Met You in Tokyo.
Parang Japan.
Because both of them are Japan, but at the same time, it showed a Japan that was more rural. It showed a Japan that was very different from the Tokyo that everybody's familiar with. But the thing is, it was also very much integrated into the lives of the characters. Ang difference lang, ito bata, ito in the twilight years na.
Okay.
So you have Alessandra and Empoy.
I like your term. I like your term nga.
Totoo naman because they
Kaya nga I like it. Talagang napaka-polite mo and talagang
Oh, because they have lived a long life, and then you suddenly have, parang tingnan mo, it's both a love story
Yeah.
and both of them actually ended up in death, di ba?
okay.
Di ba? Oh, kailangan din
Ayoko muna sabihin kasi baka meron pa hindi nakakapanood eh.
nasa Netflix panoorin nyo na yan. So pero both of it ended, and it's a very tragic story of two people at very very different age periods in their life, but the journey is the same It's about finding love in the most unexpected places, and the Japan that they were in was very much a part of how the relationship developed.
Okay.
That's why to me, these two movies showed a very very different Japan that was not a travelogue, but it felt like it was part of the story that they were saying. Which brings me to the number one. You mentioned Hello, Love, Goodbye, but I think it's also important to say Anak, because
okay na sana.
because yung sa Hello, Love, Goodbye, you have a very, very young, contemporary,
Okay.
modern take on how people who are young right now
Okay.
are being transplanted to other countries, and ito yung experience. Now, Anak also came out at a time that you just heard about the OFW situation and whatever. And to me, the ending scene of Anak, where you saw the crane going up and Vilma was crossing, and I know how difficult that scene was shot. But, kasi dati napapakinig mo lang, pag weekend nag-get together ang mga domestic dito sa lugar na to, dito sila nakikita-kita, dito sila nag-uusap ng, parang ito lang yung free time nila. Hearing it is one thing, but actually seeing it as an image, it strikes a chord na parang, ay, meron akong kakilala, teacher dito, principal dito, pumunta sa Japan, tapos napakinig ko, naging domestic. Dati parang kilig na kilig ako kasi guru siya, pero pagdating, forced siya na ganyan ang magiging trabaho niya. So to me, both these movies showed a Hong Kong from about roughly 30 years apart. But the reality of the difficulties of what Filipinos are experiencing remains the same. Maybe hindi na kasing ape because there are laws protecting the people and whatever. Pero it's still a very, very difficult life, especially for people who are transplanted, who are forced to go to Hong Kong, for example, because it's a necessity to help provide for their family. And it's a different journey. This one was a journey, Anak was a journey of a mom's perspective. Tapos yung kaibigan niya si Cherry Paya at si Ami Austria. Tapos yung naging effect dun sa anak niya, sa mga anak niya, sina Baron Geyser at sina Claudine. But clearly, it was still a mom-driven POV. This one naman is a POV driven by lonely hearts.
Tsaka 'di ba si yung kapatid ni Alden, si Edward Barbers? So 'di ba may resentment sa kanya din.
Correct. Pero ano siya, ang nakikita mo yung perspective, and the thing is, the movie is 30 years apart, but the emotions and the sentiment really hasn't changed that much. It's a reality that has been forced on them. It's just a different way of coping. Pag mas bata ka, mas social ka lang. Ito kasi domestic ka talaga. Ito nandun ka, mas social lang yung trabaho mo. Pero ganun pa rin ang impact sa buhay at saka sa pamilya.
Hindi kasi naman bartender naman si Alden, di ba?
Correct.
Tapos ayun, basta ako pero parang natutuwa kasi ang sasarap ng ulam nila.
Oh.
'Di ba? Parang
connects them to home. So,
'di ba? Parang the macaroni salad had never tasted so good.
Correct.
Diba?
Correct.
Parang lahat binubuhos. Talaga yung Sunday sa kanila talaga sagrado.
Oh, kasi that's that's the only connection you have to home when you cannot even be with your family, you cannot be with your loved ones, with your kids, with your spouses.
Yeah. And ang saya-saya kapag kasama sila. Oo. Especially since sinishare nila yung baon nila sa akin.
Oh. And that's where you see the generosity of Filipinos. In fact, when you travel abroad, kaya nga nalungkot ako dun sa kwento ng kaibigan ko from Italy, nung sinabi niya na sadly, ang nanloloko sa Pilipino ngayon ay kapwa Pilipino
na.
Masyado akong nalungkot doon kasi I remember the first time that I went to Milan 25 years ago, ang dami kong Pilipinong at saka yung mga Pilipino na, uy, Pinoy ka. So makikipagkwentuhan na sa'yo. Tapos sasabihin niya, uy, halika, sama ka dito. Naghanap ka ng mura, sige dito. Ngayon, ang sabi nila, pag may gumawa nung gano'n, sa malamang, pag napunta ka sa isang gilid, hold upin ka na. Kaya sabi ko, how sad that you have a few bad eggs who are doing that. But unfortunately, it's really happening.
Oo, kasi talagang, kasi yung in my life set a very bad example.
Talaga. So, on that note, I think medyo humaba itong episode na to. Kasi lumabas ang mga emotional angst ni Butch Francisco, yung kanyang mga pinagdaanan.
At dahil dyan, marirevive ang MMK. Okay.
Pero I hope you enjoyed our list. We had very, very different criteria for it, but I think both criteria is very, very valid. If you haven't seen the movies, try to watch the movies because it really does show a different side to all of these places also.
Yeah, and again, thank you.
Mahihirapan lang ata kayo dyan, Miss X.
Parang nakita nasa
pero kasi hindi na rin naman malinaw yung kopya.
Well, mapagtsatsagaan mo na rin.
Merica and Miss X are probably the ones na medyo mas mahirap hanapin.
America is there. Anyway, I hope, well, again, pasensya na sa mga pag-emote ko, pero kasi nga, masyadong personal sa akin yung mga, yung mga ikinuwento ko, yung mga choices. Mamaya, kulang yan. Again, but it is, I think, pwedeng ako nag-emote. Pwedeng marami rin sa mga nanonood sa atin na nakaka-emote kasi, diba?
The experiences in these movies are very, very relatable, especially when you have a lot of the younger people already moving around. So on that note, nagpapaalam po si Leo Katigbak
and Butch Francisco temporarily
kasi dun ho sa aming sa Spotify mapapakinig nyo pa ho yung may mga additional kami, may mga bonus kaming mga pelikula na hindi nakasama sa aming top 10.
Sige, okay. And with that, abangan nyo kami sa next edition ng Best 10 Bets. Tatawagan ko si Charo Santos.
At sana po hindi na magiging masyadong emotional si Butch Francisco.
So okay, so ito na. Ito na siya. Ikaw na magsara. Ikaw na magsara, hindi ko kaya.
Salamat po sa panunood ng Best 10 Bets. Until the next edition, have a good weekend.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.